Hello gardeners, welcome to the Living Soil Lab. Imagine a garden exploding with life, yielding abundant harvests and requiring less effort. Is the secret in a simple soil amendment or a revolutionary gardening technique? Discover the pros and cons of blood meal and no-till gardening and unlock the path to your most thriving garden yet. Welcome back to the Living Soil Lab, where we dig deep into the practices that truly make a difference in your garden. Today we're tackling a fascinating comparison that many of you have asked about: blood meal as a soil amendment versus the no-till gardening method. On one side, we have blood meal, the powerhouse nitrogen source that promises quick results and vigorous plant growth. On the other, we have no-till gardening, the patient approach that works with nature's rhythms to build lasting soil health. But here's the thing, defining a winner isn't as simple as measuring who produces the tallest tomato plant. We're looking at the complete picture: soil health, long-term sustainability, environmental impact, and the actual vitality of your garden ecosystem over time. Throughout this guide, I'll share real observations from side-by-side comparisons, soil test results, and the kind of practical insights that only come from getting your hands dirty and paying attention to what the soil is telling you. Blood meal enters the garden like a shot of espresso for your plants. This dried powdered blood from slaughterhouses contains approximately 13 to 15% nitrogen, making it one of the most concentrated organic nitrogen sources available to home gardeners. When you incorporate blood meal into your soil, plants respond almost immediately. Within days, you'll notice deeper green foliage and accelerated growth as that nitrogen becomes rapidly available through microbial breakdown. This makes blood meal particularly valuable when you're dealing with obvious nitrogen deficiencies, those telltale pale yellowing leaves that signal your plants are hungry. It's also incredibly useful for heavy nitrogen feeders like corn, leafy greens, and brassicas during their peak growth periods. However, the very characteristic that makes blood meal so effective also reveals its limitations. That rapid availability means nitrogen can leach away quickly, especially during heavy rains or with excessive watering. You're essentially creating a feast or famine scenario where plants get a massive nutrient surge followed by potential depletion. There's also the question of what happens beneath the surface. When you add concentrated, fast-release amendments like blood meal, you're potentially disrupting the delicate dance between plants and soil microorganisms. Plants naturally exude sugars and compounds through their roots to feed beneficial bacteria and fungi, which in turn provide nutrients in a balanced plant-available form. Flooding the system with readily available nitrogen can short-circuit this relationship, making plants, kind of lazy about developing robust root systems and reducing their connection to the soil food web. I've observed gardens that relied heavily on blood meal developing a kind of nutrient dependency, requiring increasingly frequent applications to maintain growth because the underlying biological system weakened over time. No-till gardening operates on an entirely different philosophy, one that aligns with how nature builds soil without human intervention. Instead of disrupting soil structure through tilling or digging, you're working from the surface down, adding organic matter as mulch, and allowing soil organisms to incorporate it naturally. This approach protects the intricate architecture of healthy soil, the aggregates, pore spaces, and fungal highways that make soil function as a living system, rather than just a growing medium. When you preserve this structure, you're maintaining habitats for earthworms, beneficial nematodes, arthropods, and the mycorrhizal fungi that extend plant root systems by orders of magnitude. The benefits compound over time in ways that aren't immediately obvious but become transformative. Undisturbed soil develops improved water infiltration and retention, meaning your garden becomes more drought-resistant and requires less irrigation. The continuous soil cover prevents erosion and moderate soil temperature, creating stable conditions for biological activity year-round. Perhaps most significantly, no-till gardens build organic matter steadily, turning your soil darker, more crumbly, and increasingly fertile with each passing season. I've worked with no-till beds that have gone from hard, compacted clay to rich, self-aggregating loam within 3 years, simply through consistent mulching and minimal disturbance. The initial challenges are real though, and worth addressing honestly. Transitioning to no-till often means dealing with existing weed seed banks that surface as you mulch, and your first season might show slower growth as the biological systems establish themselves. Plants in newly established no-till beds sometimes appear less vigorous initially because they're investing energy in root development rather than top growth, building the foundation for long-term productivity. In our comparison beds, we planted identical varieties of tomatoes, peppers, and lettuce under 3 conditions: blood meal amended soil with traditional tillage, no-till beds with compost mulch, and a control bed with basic compost incorporation. The first 6 weeks told an expected story. Blood meal beds showed the most dramatic vegetative growth, with plants consistently larger and darker green. However, soil tests revealed something fascinating. While nitrogen levels spiked initially in blood meal beds, they dropped significantly by mid-season, requiring additional applications. The no-till beds maintained steady, moderate nitrogen levels throughout the growing season without any additional inputs beyond the initial compost mulch. By harvest time, the picture had shifted considerably. Total yields were remarkably similar across all 3 beds, but quality differences emerged. Tomatoes from no-till beds developed deeper, more complex flavors, and showed better disease resistance, likely due to more balanced nutrition and stronger root systems. The real revelation came from soil health metrics. Earthworm counts in no-till beds were triple those in tilled beds, and soil aggregation, that critical indicator of soil structure, was significantly better. Water infiltration tests showed no-till beds absorbing rainfall at rates 50% faster than tilled beds, meaning less runoff and better drought resilience. The fungal to bacterial ratio, measured through microscopy, heavily favored fungal dominance in no-till beds, indicating a more mature, stable soil ecosystem. Here's where we move past simple competition into practical wisdom. These approaches aren't mutually exclusive, and the best strategy depends entirely on your specific situation. If you're establishing a new garden bed in depleted soil, a judicious application of blood meal alongside compost can jumpstart biological activity while you transition toward no-till management. For annual vegetable gardens where you're pushing for maximum production, strategic blood meal use for heavy feeders, combined with no-till principles for most of your garden, creates a hybrid approach that honors both productivity and soil health. The key insight is understanding that blood meal is a tool, not a system, while no-till is a system, not just a technique. Blood meal solves immediate nitrogen deficiency, but doesn't build long-term soil health. No-till creates the conditions for self-sustaining fertility, but requires patience and consistent organic matter additions. Your choice, or more likely, your combination of these approaches, should reflect your garden's current state, your goals, and your timeline. Are you working with depleted soil that needs a quick intervention? Blood meal has its place. Are you building a garden that will feed your family for decades? No-till creates that foundation. If you found this comparison valuable, subscribe to the Living Soil Lab for more evidence-based gardening insights that go beyond the hype. Share this video with fellow gardeners who are ready to make informed decisions about their soil management. Together, we're building a community that understands the best gardening practices aren't about following trends, but about understanding the science and ecology beneath our feet.